I'm Matthew Hurst, Product Line Manager at Belden. And today we're going to take a closer look at the features and benefits of our new 4U FX ECX Patch Panel. To start with, we'll look at installation. You'll notice we have a mounting bracket with an open slot, which allows for very easy one-person installation. I've pre-started my screws, as you can see here. It now just takes one installer to slide it in. Rest the brackets directly on those preset screws. It sets in place. It's now going to stay. I now can go ahead and tighten my bottom screws and add my top screws, and installation is complete. Very easy one-person installation. We're now looking at the back of the ECX housing. So one of the features that we have, you'll notice that we have this top cover that is removable without tools. Simply extend these latches, pull back, and the cover removes quickly and easily. The rear door has also been designed to secure slack cable and is easily removed by compressing a latch here and pulling out. So this door came off very easily, and you'll also note that we actually have uneven pins. So this is very important when trying to get the door back on, because when the pins are even, it's very hard to get that alignment and rotate that door back into place. With uneven pins, it's much easier to align your long pin, and then you have a little bit of slack to align your short pin, and that door can be slid on much more easily. We also have snap-on external and internal strain relief brackets, which make it very easy to put the strain relief in place that you need. So these will slide in place like so. You'll hear that hard snap to know that it's in place. Similarly on this side. And these two external strain relief ears come standard with every ECX housing. We also have these internal strain relief blocks, which can be mounted in various locations across the housing. On the door, also on the left, the right, or even the center, giving you multiple options for cable strain relief depending on the deployment situation that you're faced with. So note that we also have these segmented routing guides, which can be installed into the housing. And one thing I'd like to direct your attention to is that there is two sides. So we do have a left and a right side, so that when you segregate your fiber bundles, you can actually put it into two different compartments very easily. And these snap into place by simply pushing in and doing a slight turn. And these can be populated in multiple locations throughout the housing. And as you can see, you now have these loops that can go on either side of the rear housing. And when your fiber comes in, you'll use your strain relief block tie down your cable, and then you can route your type buffer or whatever fiber you have within these segmented routing guides to plug into the back of your patch panel. Another thing to notice is that the interior is actually painted white, so this reflects more ambient light and gives you better lighting within the housing. When you have that, combined with our clear top window, it actually creates a much better lighting environment for deployments in which you might be working in a very dim workspace. So one of the more innovative features of the FX ECX is that we actually have these cassette rails molded directly into the housing chassis. This means that switching from a fiber frame to a fiber cassette is effortless and immediate. And what we also have as part of our functionality is that we have a completely symmetrical design. So our cassettes can be removed and installed from both the front of the housing and the rear of the housing. So depending on where you have the most space and where it makes sense, you can actually work symmetrically from either side and have true versatility depending on your deployment situation. So we know that the ECX platform can support all modern fiber field termination techniques. We've covered our Splice Cassettes, which we know creates a modular platform in order to do fusion splicing, but we also have Splice Trays, which are shown here. The Splice Trays can accommodate 36 single or 18 mass fusion splices per tray, and you can stack these trays 12 high within an ECX 4U. So this will cover every density situation that you can imagine as far as the front panels are concerned. In order to install a splice tray, we take our clip, snap it in, turn it to the side like we would for the modular cable management clips. We'll then have one on each side. We'll then take our splice tray, rest it on top, and it actually snaps into place, as you can hear. And that's now held in place for fiber splicing from a splice tray perspective if you elect not to use the fiber splice cassettes. Next, we're going to show off the rear housing removable feature of the FX ECX. So a very easy process. For the installer, from a flexibility perspective, it makes sense to be able to remove the rear housing, place it on the workbench, perform your fiber routings, and then put that rear housing back on the patch panel. And we'll show you how to do it as such. You take a flathead screwdriver, and you'll pop out these screws. These are spring-loaded screws. You'll feel them pop out as soon as you do it a quarter turn, both sides. And this rear housing removes very easily. You would then probably take off the top cover, perform your splicing and routing, put this cover back on, close the door, and reinstallation is as simple as the way you took it off. You'll place it back on, slide it up, and perform your quarter turn to get this flathead screw back in place. And that's all there is to it. Moving back to the front of the housing, you'll see that we have a see-through door, which allows instant visibility for inspection and troubleshooting without disturbing the housing. This door, similar to the rear door, is also removable. We have a latch on this side, a slight compression, pull the latch off, and that door will completely remove. Again, we do have the uneven pins, so similar to the rear housing, where we noted it's very difficult to often get these doors back on when you have equal sized pins. We do have the uneven pins, which allows you to line up the long pin, get your short pin into place, and slide that door back on quickly and easily, which I'll show you here. And there you have it. So we also have these molded jumper openings on the front, which reduces dust intake while also maintaining the jumper bend radius. As we noted earlier, the cassettes can be installed from the front and the rear. I can show you from the front here. So this cassette comes directly out from the front, symmetrically as it would on the back of the housing chassis. We also have the snap-in patch cord management guides, which allow for flexibility of jumper management. And these are the same clips. They are dual-sided with segmented areas. And these snap in the same way as they do in the rear of the housing when controlling your fibers from the rear. You'll notice we have 8 clips, 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. And when you consider the fact that they are segmented, you actually end up with 16 different fiber routing configurations that you could get. So you have 8 clips times 2, which gives you the 16 different segments for which you can route your jumpers. The ECX also has a removable front enclosure. This allows unimpeded access to the connectors and quickly creates a flush mount patch panel. The removable front enclosure can be removed as such. There's 2 screws on each side, requiring a Phillips head screwdriver. These can be removed. And as soon as those 4 screws are removed, it slides directly off. We'll now cover labeling locations within the ECX04U. There's multiple port labeling locations located within the housing. So the labels will come installed within the top cover of the housing, and they actually come out, they'll hit this latch, and they can actually tilt down, and when you fix your adhesive label, you'll be able to see what the labeling locations are while you're looking at the patch panel. However, if you'd prefer the labeling locations to be within the door, these can simply come right off and latch over top of the door and clip in this manner. And now your labels will be located within the door. So if you want them visible at all times, this can be your approach. However, if you want to hide them away, they do tuck discreetly within the top cover of the housing. To learn more, please visit our product pages at www.belden.com/ECX for information and downloads. If you have any additional questions, be sure to click on the Speak to a Representative button so that we can answer them for you. To buy our 4U ECX Patch Panel, click on the How to Buy button at the top of this page to contact a sales representative or find a distributor near you. Thanks for watching.